Hey YouTube, Mooer ocean machine power supply. I couldn't find it, and I had thought, see, I bought mine used, and for some reason I thought that it came with a power supply. It did not. So if you look at the machine, it says 9 volt reverse polarity or negative center, 500 milliamp. So what I've been using is a Sony AC FX 150, which is 9.5 volt positive center. So I had to cut it and flip-flop the wiring on the cable. 2 amp. Now I put this on a multimeter. It came up at 9.7 volts. So that's how I have it labeled. Mooer ocean machine, my sloppy handwriting. This is what the power supply looks like, and this is a Goodwill or Salvation Army, you know, something I probably paid 99 cents for. So this is not the ideally, you know, I'm not recommending you run out and hunt one of these down, but it works on mine. Any 9 volt battery, 9 volt adapter, if you test it and it's, you know, somewhere around 9. Usually if there's no load, they'll run a little hotter. For the more sensitive digital stuff, ideally you're going to really want to have it right at what it's supposed to be. Unlike some of the older 9 volt adapters, when you look at them and they're 13.49 volts. So I'm making this video for me because the Mooer ocean machine gets moved around. There's 2 places or more, maybe 3, that I could use this in the house, and I had the cable wrapped up nice, and then I had tape wrapped. Actually, I wrapped a paper towel, a blue, like what I did. I had the excess cable wound up and laid across here, and rather than just tape it all up and then at some point in the future I know I would remove that tape and there would be residue from the tape, what I did was take like a gas station variety blue paper towel, cut it the width of the adapter, wrap that around, and then wrap it with 3.5 inch masking tape. I initially used some electrical tape, so it was like a whole production. It was all taped up, and I had asked my old lady to, hey, go see if you can go find that Mooer ocean machine power supply, and she was just like, I have no idea what's going on over here. And I was looking for something that said Mooer on it. I thought, you know, this is a fancy high-tech. No, I never got a power supply with it. I don't know if they make one, if Mooer makes one. I'm sure they do. And you probably have to pay extra for it. So the reason I'm making this video is not to recommend, if you own a Mooer ocean machine and you're looking for a power supply, to recommend that you go out and specifically hunt down a Sony AC FX 150. This is just totally for my reference. That way, and my failure was when I made that whole nice thing and taped it all up, I should have wrote on the outside. So that's probably what's going to happen when I do this install, because it's getting cut in an area with some recording stuff, a couple of 2 preamps and EQ, and blah 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 blah. So and just wanting to have the cabling nice and not running all over the place. You know, you really want to make sure you don't have AC running around by your audio cables. I think I have one AC adapter here that meaning you know, they're all AC adapters because they changed the AC to DC, but this one is AC to AC 9 volts. So that's something interesting to think about. is that little 9-volt AC, is that going to, is there going to be some hum at some point? Anyway, getting all this stuff set up, getting ready to move towards recording a song cycle of brand new original music. I like to record the stuff, I listened to a lot of Pink Floyd when I was a kid, so that idea of things starting and songs running into each other or having sound effect beds in between the songs, very appealing. So that's the type of thing, and it's going to be more synthesizer stuff, keyboards, more ambient, this year, because by design I'm incorporating a guitar synth and a rack mount synth and then a computer that's set up with a bunch of specifically UHE Zebra 2 and Spitfire Labs. So it'll be really interesting once I get everything going. Right now we're just getting everything set up, so special huge thanks to my old lady. I was in the process of doing some work tonight, and this just stumped me. Like, what the heck power supply is that mooer ocean machine? So I figure, you know what, I'll make this video real quick as a reference point for me. So I'm sorry. And you know what? If you're in this position yourself, where you run into a mooer ocean machine and you're nervous about plugging something into it, a one spot would be fine. It calls for 9-volt, 500 milliamps, and what that means is you don't want to starve it for power. Meaning, if I had a 9-volt, 200 milliamp power supply, the mooer ocean machine is looking to be fed 500 milliamp or a half an amp. So if I'm feeding it a quarter of an amp, it might not even fire up. And if it does, it's not good for it. You could heat something up on the board. You could, in my mind, I would think the power supply, you would be putting a load on the power supply, and your wall wart would get hot and fail. But I typically don't make that mistake, so I can't tell you what happens if you fudge it. I do know that in this case, this is a 2-amp power supply. So you can go way over, and it won't matter. The effect will only take what it needs, and this will run more at an idle. So hopefully maybe that was helpful for you. If not, this video was for me anyway. So you guys take care of yourselves, and peace.